reveals a lot about you. But did you ever think your handwriting could help you get or lose your next job? Kyra Phillips tells us who has the right stuff.
Handwriting and hiring. Do they go hand in hand?
I've guaranteed at least 90% accuracy.
It's called graphology, the analysis of character through handwriting.
I've had an online chance to see employees that we've hired after the fact perform exactly as their handwriting analysis, their graphology said they would.
And business owners like Carl Miller are believers. Believers in a system of character evaluation in which every line, hook, and stroke has meaning of its own. However, some critics say with every loop defined could create some legal loopholes.
Although an employer might not decide to use it for discriminatory reasons, the result might end up causing people in protected categories to be weeded out.
We'll explore this unconventional approach at hand.
See what hiring needs might be anticipated.
Carl Miller owns this executive search firm, Russell Stevens Incorporated.
I'd sure appreciate it.
His placement firm specializes in finding the perfect person for the perfect job.
They are very interesting.
And it's handwriting analysis that Carl says has brought him the perfect employees to do it.
Mostly the continuity, the consistency of the individual. We don't get the mercurial person who blows up at the first signs of problems or frustration. We get a much more constant personality.
Every one of Carl's employees had to submit a writing sample when interviewing to work here. He took those samples to handwriting expert Sheila Lowe. This is an example of the personality profile Sheila puts together. Traits such as work ethic, creativity, and frustration tolerance are all determined by her examination.
I went to the library to do research.
At first, future employees like Nancy Hansen were skeptical. But once these co-workers were put into the same office together, they became believers.
I think we succeed as we all are of a similar type. We're resilient, we're self-starters.
It's very accurate as far as certain tendencies that they might lean towards, such as maybe rebellion from authority or a desire, motivation.
Handwriting is symbolic of who you really are inside. It's like a picture of your psyche.
Sheila Lowe has been studying and teaching graphology for 31 years.
People who have a strong right slant in the middle zone are very expressive. Companies of all shapes and types and sizes use it, from hospitality to real estate to financial. A lot of employment agencies use it. You name it.
The history of handwriting analysis goes back to 330 BC, to the days of Aristotle. The Greek philosopher wrote that handwriting reflects a person's state of mind. A state of mind, Sheila says, she can read through the stroke of a pen.
A very small writing indicates somebody who's more introverted, maybe has a more scientific bent, is able to concentrate and focus for long periods of time. But on the other hand, you have somebody with a really large writing, and that's not somebody who's going to concentrate. They want to be out there, being in the middle of everything.
We asked Sheila to analyze a few letters for us. We wanted to see how accurate her analysis matched high-profile personalities.
It's very simplified writing. There's no extra stroke. It's cut down to the barest details. And what that signifies is a quick thinker, somebody who's very intelligent, who can come up with ingenious solutions to problems, and who is perhaps less emotional. It's not that they don't have emotions, but they've learned to separate them and to deal with them at a different time.
This is the handwriting of Hillary Rodham Clinton.
The spacing of it is too crowded, which shows a person who doesn't understand their social boundaries. They don't know where to draw the line. And it's a very cold writing.
This is the writing of mass murderer Jeffrey Dahmer.
What do you say to critics who say, this is hocus pocus?
Well, actually, probably not a good answer, because I figure that if they don't believe in it, the burden of proof is on them. I know it works.
Whether it's a legitimate, accepted science in the community or not, the point is, how is an employer using that information?
Carla Barbosa specializes in discrimination law. She believes handwriting analysis is a tool that draws a legal fine line.
The danger is that an employer might use it to find out person's religion, person's personal predilections, sexual orientation, a number of things that are criteria that by law they can't rely on in selecting a candidate.
That's why business owners like Carl Miller tell every potential employee about the analysis and shares the confidential results with every applicant. And Sheila Lowe stresses the importance of finding a handwriting examiner who is credible.
It's important to know that handwriting does not tell everything. It does tell a lot and it can be very helpful, but usually as an adjunct to other kinds of, like in work, don't hire based only on the analysis, but add it to your impressions in the interview, the resume, the background checks, and all the other things. It should just be part of the puzzle.
The Civil Rights Act makes it illegal for employers to use traits like sexual orientation or health when hiring. So analysts and employers have to be very careful with the information they obtain from these writing samples. Now, yes, you want to ask a question?
No, go ahead.
Well, of course, I took some writing off your desks, okay? I had to have these analyzed. And this is you, a warm, outgoing person who really cares about other people. You make quick changes of direction and have a resilience to adapt when things aren't going as well as they might be.
Thank you, Kyra.
Yeah, Mike, are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Very energetic person who does things his own way. He prefers to avoid conflict whenever possible and can be extremely persuasive when he wants to be. He knows what he wants.
She left out a lot.
I had to keep this for,
She did that right
this
after
is
she did-
PG, folks.
Right after Jeffrey Dahmer's handwriting.
Thank you, Kyra.
Absolutely.
By the way, do you mind if I read this?
Go right ahead.
Thank you.